Hi and welcome to the Cult TV Sofa. This is a reaction video of the second episode of the one and only season of Automan, called Staying Alive While Running a High Flashdance Fever. There are a few dancing related names in there, so not sure I'm looking forward to this one. Last time we met Walter, the computer genius that somehow managed to create a solid hologram that creates earthquakes when he appears, i.e. Automan. Together they foiled a scheme where important engineers and scientists were kidnapped and made to work on projects for a security company. They foiled it by murdering the main suspect and one of his henchmen at the end. We learnt that Automan can create a fast car and plane out of thin air with the help of Cursor, and Walter is able to enter Automan to protect him from harm and to pass through solid objects. So let's see what happens in this episode. I'm going to put any relevant trivia that I find over here, and at the end of the reaction I'm going to be discussing what happened and my thoughts about the episode. And I'm going to start it in 3, 2, 1. That's a hell of a title. It's really messed up my file names. Way too long.
Maybe she isn't coming.
Informants are about as reliable as computers.
Jack Curtis?
Miss Simmons, I presume?
Don't turn around.
Let's take a walk.
Enough information to prove that the mob is buying into the Casino Hotel in Las Vegas.
Well, that's not exactly earth-shattering news. They've been trying to buy into the casino for years.
Imagine. Good for laundering. Get their shirts really clean.
Get out of here.
Don't think you're going to deliver now.
Let's go.
Why would they have the captain and Walter out on that kind of stakeout? Neither of them. The captain's too high in the rank, and Walter's a computer guy, office-based.
Captain Boyd's gone after them. I'm getting help.
Just give me half an hour to generate the hologram and create an earthquake in the area. That's why I drive around town. I get how he could dial remotely, but he wouldn't be able to enter the text. I don't think. Unless he set up some sort of tone system.
Cursor, that isn't nice.
Yeah, that Cursor's a bit of a pervert, really. He's always harassing the women.
We'll be right there.
I do like the sound the car makes. It's quite cool. Yeah, that gets boring and annoying really quick, him doing that. It does look cool. It's a Lamborghini, so yeah, it looks cool. But with the lights on as well, whoa.
Where'd anybody come from?
You're under arrest.
Yeah, captured him, and that bloke's livelihood's all over now because they destroyed his newsstand. That was very close to the ground.
No, you better not risk them picking us up again. Just head straight for the judges.
It's still pretty conspicuous though, all lit up like that in the sky. Funny how the car can only do 90-degree turns, but the helicopter can do whatever.
I am sorry about all this, Your Honor, but the man who thought he saw the car coming in this general direction is new.
So, corrupt judge then.
Very well, Captain. By the way, give the commissioner my very best.
Name dropper. So is she the informant? We didn't get a good look at her. So is the judge in the mob's pocket?
that the best friend this department has ever had is Judge Farnsworth.
So, it's good cover.
Farnsworth is known as the hanging judge.
He's the mob's worst enemy.
It doesn't quite make sense if he's the mob's worst enemy. I mean, it's throwing people off the scent, and then there's just throwing people off the scent completely. That doesn't make sense.
You've got the best mind for deductive reasoning on this planet.
No, he doesn't. He's just had a load of books fed into him. That doesn't mean he can deduce anything.
I gotta teach you a little more about people.
Videotape cassettes?
Well, not just any tapes, Otto. The kind that'll show you how young people act, the way they talk. Look, Otto, I've gotta go, all right? I'll be back.
Why have I got a terrible feeling we're going to see him doing that later? For its time, that was quite a nice effect, though, having it projected on him like that.
This is Ellen Fowler calling from Las Vegas. I'm sorry to be calling like this, but it's a matter of life and death. I'm at the Casino Hotel. Please call me immediately.
How did she get his number?
Tell Walter where I've gone when he gets back. Do as you're told.
Surely he needs Cursor.
I can't go to Las Vegas looking like this. Cursor?
Oh dear, I feel embarrassed.
Judge Farnsworth is sitting on the bench next month for the trial of Leonard Martin. He's the biggest gambling czar in the country.
Okay, so the judge has been bad to the mob, or bad for the mob, but now he's sold out. I mean, he looked quite an old gentleman, so maybe it's his retirement plan to sell out to the mob at the end of his career, get some money to retire.
He's gone ahead to Las Vegas to save her? By himself?
How has he got there? Because he hasn't got the car or the helicopter, so how did he get there? He needs Cursor to generate all that. I think, anyway.
Oh, I'm not going home. I'm going to Las Vegas.
So Los Angeles isn't too far away from Las Vegas, if I remember rightly. But yeah, how did he get there?
Thank you. My message to Officer Nebaker was not to tell anyone.
Well, we're a team.
Why is she trusting him? She doesn't know who he is.
Oh, I don't drink. Thank you.
Have some peanuts.
Oh, I don't eat either.
Is he one of those people who just lives on air? There are apparently people who do that, or say they do that.
Do you dance?
Have you ever seen John Travolta dance?
Yes.
Then you've seen me.
Because he literally does exactly the same way, because he can reproduce what he's seen. Oh dear. Don't dance like this anymore in the clubs, do they? I don't think they danced like that in the clubs back then. It's now a good time to point out that's completely obviously not him. That it's a different hair, different face, different body build.
What are you doing?
It was Miss Fowler's idea to keep from calling attention to ourselves.
Oh, that worked well.
Where can we go to get away from here?
Well, I have a room in the judge's suite upstairs. He shouldn't be up for some time.
Oh, that's clever. A room in the judge's suite. Perfect place to meet incognito.
Still no excuse for making a public display of yourself.
You programmed me to fit in
Great
socially.
hotel with all the stuff left out like that. Sack housekeeping.
The numbers are all here. Some are in Switzerland, some are listed for the Cayman
Why
Islands.
did they let her live after they took her at the beginning?
We'll need to copy down these numbers.
The first number is 0187994432. The second is 01664351.
Wait,
Surely
not
you
so
can just
fast.
read it and memorise it.
Never
Or
mind.
yeah.
I'll remember them.
Yeah. Okay, so he's got an eidetic memory? I can't even pronounce it. He can basically remember everything he sees, which that makes sense. He's basically a walking computer. Anything he sees would be captured data.
Judge is as good as dead.
Sensational, darling.
Oh. Setup. It's not her.
You slip into something very special and I'll be down with a little surprise. All right.
What can I say? When you're hot, you're hot. Farnsworth is finished.
They literally set the judge up. Okay.
Now, just as soon as they verify the amounts that I put into his account, I'll pull them back out. And the police, well, they're going to think that the judge hid it.
That's clever.
No one knows this part of the operation except you and me. And, Ellen.
So they're going to used her, now they're going to kill her. So she wasn't the woman who at the beginning, they're just a stooge. So the entire thing from the beginning is a setup. She was paid off. She was the woman at the beginning. But the kidnap was all ruse. Yeah, sorry, a bit slow.
The judge is quite a crook. He has illegal bank accounts all over the world.
That's hard to believe, isn't it? A man who's practically dedicated his life to fighting crooked gamblers like Leonard Martin.
So it didn't quite make sense until I thought maybe, it was the final thing for his retirement plan, but this makes more sense.
Well, if they were one and the same person, that would certainly make her testimony suspect.
Yeah, as well as the evidence she so conveniently dropped in our laps. I think we better have another talk with Ellen Fowler.
Bit late.
Ellen Fowler is dead.
Let's just lead all the dead bodies through the casino where all the guests can see.
Wally, I was afraid I'd find you here. What have you got yourself mixed up in?
Why is she there? It's out of their jurisdiction.
Mr. Leonard Martin, gambling czar. He's the only guy I know who would have enough to put this together.
Of course. Once they bring charges against the judge, they'll have to pull him off Martin's trial.
If this is a frame, it's the neatest I've ever seen.
Now, it was your brainstorm to borrow the money from the syndicate to set up this frame. If they find out that millions of dollars are missing, I'm a dead man.
But that other guy was going to transfer the money back out the account. I don't quite understand what's happened.
I wonder if you wouldn't mind accompanying me to the main desk.
What for?
Well, I'm only carrying a message. I think it has something to do with that policeman that just left.
So they're going to kidnap her and use her as leverage.
I suggest you come and do as I say.
That's a really public place, though. It's not like you could pull the gun or do anything there. Especially in a casino.
If you don't want to see your friend end up like the judge's secretary, you call the news media and you get him over here so they get the whole story on him.
Is your cash register computerized?
Sure. Hooks right into the main hotel computer. Keeps tabs on everything.
Yeah. Official police business. I've got to punch up a message.
I'm not even going there. Seriously, Cursor's got to be on some kind of list somewhere.
I'd say that's little enough for murder.
Get him.
I was hoping you'd try something like this.
Get him.
You better hope it's not a power outage.
Because the judge doesn't have the money anymore.
I don't know what you're talking about.
What counts is that you've got the money now. Right here in your casino account.
So they've transferred the money to his account.
No.
Okay, so he did try and transfer the money, but it had been removed by them. Was that explained?
It's the mob's money. I'm a dead man if they find out I've got it.
Yeah. It looks so space age with the light in, but if you take those light strips off, and if it was just lit normally, it would just be a bog standard ordinary helicopter, but it does look quite cool. How are they going to find him? He's in the middle of nowhere, which means there'd be no power either.
I know you must be getting pretty uncomfortable, honey. But just as soon as we get up the lodge, I'm going to show you a real good time.
Tell you what, these are all fine, these episodes, but at the end, they tend to take a bit of a dark turn, don't they? How did they find him? It's not like today you could use, trace a phone signal, a mobile phone signal, and find them that way. None of that back then. So I assume, is the helicopter bulletproof?
I can still discharge my entire energy field against him.
Yeah, it might have hit him, but that would have gone through her as well, because they were holding on to each other at the time. So she'd have been shocked.
There's only one more thing in the whole world I could possibly ask for.
What's that?
Untie her.
You fill out the report on this one.
Yeah. I mean, they're not going to say anything because they look mad. But,
It's that Fed you were telling me about, Curtis. He's the one that cracked this case wide open, and Nebuchadnezzar is taking all the credit, stealing it out of the right guy's mouth.
That police captain's an awful boss, an awful manager of people. He might have been a good policeman. Who knows? But yeah, awful captain. Not much of a motivator for the for his staff. It was actually quite a good story to this one, setting up the judge and sort of framing him. It took me at the beginning. I was going along with the whole storyline that the woman, the informant, was then kidnapped and taken to the judge's house. Although obviously that all relied upon them being followed, and when Automan turned into the helicopter, as far as they knew, they weren't being followed. So how did they know the plan had worked? That's a bit of a flaw. Doesn't quite make sense. But it wasn't until obviously much later on. Well, it wasn't until they dropped the whole bombshell that she was part of it all, and it was all a setup. So yeah, it was actually not bad. That casino guy, though, a bit of an idiot. It's all well and good trying to set the judge up, but you don't use mob money to do it. What if something had gone wrong and they couldn't transfer the money back, which is what happened. They couldn't transfer the money back, and the money goes missing. Or, to be honest though, even if it hadn't gone missing, just using mob money to do something like that, even something that's going to help them, without telling them, that's not going to go down too well, is it? I don't understand how they found the guy who kidnapped, I can't remember her name, the girl, the police. I don't know what position is. I have to investigate that. How they found them. They were off the road with no power around them, in the middle of nowhere. There was no way of tracing them. That casino guy didn't even know where they were, so that doesn't make sense either. Yeah, like I said, it was actually not a bad story. Apart from the dancing, that was just cringy, and I'm sure obviously for the time that the episode was made, those films were obviously the big thing, and it was probably really in to have that in there. But by today's standards, oh dear, oh that's bad. It really dates the program, really dates it. And all the computer jokes as well, like talking about Apple II and stuff. It just seriously dates the whole thing. But I suppose we've got programs that are on now that in 15, 20 years' time people might look at and say the same thing. So it is just the natural way that TV programs and technology progress. Yeah. So yeah, apart from the dancing, not a bad episode. Let me know what you thought in the comments below, and shall see you for the next one. Be seeing you.